Um, why have I been successful in so many areas of my life, but just can't seem to lose weight and keep it off? Today, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to get really vulnerable. I don't know that I have ever publicly revealed my weight, like the number on the scale, but today is the day. I talk about what it is, where it's been, and where it's going to end up.
In our appearance driven social system, toxic productivity and diet culture are considered especially heinous. In Denver, Colorado, a dedicated goal getter seeking to crush these vicious lies is the founder of an elite squad known as Heal Thy Spirit. These are her stories.
I'm Tia, 45-year-old empty nest mother of three adult boys. I've been overweight my entire life, probably like you. I've tried all the diets, exercise, every fad and trend known to man that diet culture tells us will finally help us to lose the weight. I had weight loss surgery in 2011. I lost 82 pounds, including the 20 that they require you to lose before you have the surgery. And by 2018, I was actually 3 pounds heavier than I was on the day of my surgery. So it took me about 7-ish years to gain it all back and then some. The struggle is real. There is so much information out here, out there, and everywhere. And the right thing um, that works is it's very niche to the individual. There's no such thing as one size fits all. I certainly know this, and this is my story. I am not a doctor. I am not prescribing medical advice. I am not saying that what I did or am doing will work for you. And I am not even remotely suggesting that you do what I do. I'm sharing information, which is not education, as I quoted Dr. Beverly Chang in my last episode. My body, my choice. Just like you, it's your body and your choice. Do your research. Take what I say here as one example of the many options that are out there. Now, whether you're just like me in a season of health, looking to lose weight and get healthy, or maybe you just need inspiration and encouragement, you might be considering what the next step you'll take is in your own weight loss journey. Or maybe you just like hearing other people's stories and you're nosy like me. If any of these people are you, then you are in the right place. I'm taking very specific steps in my personal weight loss journey. And, whether you agree or disagree with my choices, you're still encouraged to be here. I am not here to judge you or tell you how to live your life. And I can only hope that you'll extend that same grace and courtesy to me as you hear my story and consider the fact that what's right for you may not be right for me, and vice versa. Okay, now that that's all out of the way, let's get to it. Today, I want to talk about um, basically how I found glory in my weight loss story, which is actually not finished yet, but you can celebrate during the journey. And there's 5 points I'm going to make or talk about today. Number one, how did I get fat? Number two, how have I already tried to lose weight? Number three, what has worked and what hasn't worked for me in the past? Number four, why I decided to do what I'm doing now, and obviously what I'm doing. And number five, what results have I seen thus far? Okay, so number one, how did I get fat? So I am 45 now. I my weight when I recommitted myself was 240.8 pounds. So basically 241 pounds as of April 2024. The heaviest weight that I am aware of is about 270 pounds. In high school, I weighed 175, and for reference, I'm 5'6". For many years, I thought I was 5'7". That's kind of a running joke in my circle of friends. That extra 1 inch of 5'7" that I always thought I was, definitely got corrected by my physician when I was in my mid 20s. So I don't know if I shrunk or if I was just delusional for all those years. But in any case, I'm 5'6" today. And I weighed, as of April 2024, 241 pounds. Um, in high school, I always thought I was fat. Um, and I apologize if the word fat offends you. It's just how I talk, and I'm not triggered by it. And I apologize if you are. It's, just a word, and I'm not giving any power or value to it. That said, or back to what I was saying, is I was about 175 back then. I thought, I mean, it'd be great if I was 175 pounds today. I think I'd be, ecstatic if that were the case. But it is not. And back then, of course, I thought I was fat. I'm sure, maybe at that time I was about 15 or 20 pounds overweight. But I was active. I was on the flag line, color guard. I don't know what, different people call it. I was in Marine ROTC, or JROTC, for my last couple of years. So, I mean, I was very active during that time. I just, I was overweight. I personally have not had any major health issues. Everyone in my family pretty much has high blood pressure. Never had high blood pressure. I take no medications. As far, for my any what do they call them, comorbidities. I was, the weight loss surgery that I mentioned, I qualified for that because I was morbidly obese, and that literally was it. So I have certainly been a part of the, I guess, the movement that, it's okay, if you're healthy, to be in your body the way it is. I am all for accepting you for who you are. And if you're healthy and you're happy, I don't think that necessarily should try to lose weight. For me, and what I'm deciding to do here, again, is just what I would like for my life. I am healthy, so to speak, but there are things that I missed out on because of the extra weight that I'm carrying, and I would like to, have more energy and be, able to not stress so much about, being uncomfortable in small spaces and, things of that nature. So again, just a personal choice for me, and, something that I want to point out, but that is no judgment or reflection. If I never lose another pound, I'm going to be fine, as far as, my mental state. And this isn't a diet culture thing where I feel like, my worth is in my size, because that certainly is not the attitude that I have. But that's the same thing if you're talking about money. Somebody that wants more money doesn't mean that they necessarily need it, but there's nothing wrong in, doing the things that you want to do and achieving the goals that you want to achieve because of whatever reasons you have for wanting to achieve those goals. My goal in the current season is to lose some weight, and that's what I'm working on doing. So there's that. How have I already tried to lose weight? How haven't I tried to lose weight? I'm sure many of you can relate. I've done everything. I think the first diet that I ever did was like Richard Simmons' Deal a Meal. I don't know. I'm really aging myself at this point, because my mom had, it was like, I mean, honestly, it's probably very similar to like Weight Watchers point system, because it was basically like food groups. And it was my mom, she had this big old folder, and there was little different cards, with different colors for each food group or whatever. And you could have so many of each color or category per day. And you kind of dealed yourself a meal for like every meal. And I mean, I guess the concept of balanced eating was, and I don't know the details, because again, I was literally probably in elementary or middle school. My mom didn't put me on the diet. But, me being a kid and knowing that I was fat, I wanted to do what she was doing. So I would, look at her cards and, do these things together. Um, so I did that. I have done Weight Watchers, I just mentioned, a couple different times and did lose weight on that. I have done Atkins diet before it was politically correct to call keto. It was very frowned upon. I've done South Beach diet. I've done um, the last actual true diet because, for the record, I don't do diets anymore. I am not a believer in making yourself do something that is unrealistic to stick to. So the last diet I did was in 2021, and it was masked as a spiritual fast. So, and I don't regret it. I have zero regrets for anything that I've tried in the past. But it definitely wasn't, essentially at the end of the day, you were taking all of these additional supplements that the provider, and I love her. I am not, again, negating anything that she does. I'm not going to mention her by name, but essentially it was a plan where you have these, you take these supplements, you can't exercise during the 3 month period that you're on the plan, and you or that you're on the fast, and it's very woven into faith and praying and spiritual strength, which again are things that I believe in. But that incorporated with you probably have heard of like HCG, I think is what the hormone drops or whatever they were. But anyway, that's the thing that I did. It was like 500 calories a day for like 3 months, and I lost I forget how many pounds, but when I ended, it was like 218 pounds, and that was in April of 2021. And then I slowly, I mean, I kept, I got back into exercise because I've been exercising with a great group of people. The Fit Squad, Kirsten Quick Fit is my trainer, my virtual trainer. I met her at a retreat in Florida and in person, and actually, followed her YouTube channel and, started working out online. And then I joined the channel, and I literally get on Zoom and work out with these girls. They work out 6 days a week. I am there as many days as I can make it, but on a regular basis, pretty regular basis. I mean, all of 2020, most of the rest of 2021 and all of 2022 up until probably September of 2022, I worked out every like 6 days a week. And I did 1 month where, because I always challenge myself to do these impossible things. You'll come to know that that's the kind of person I am. And I literally worked out every single day for the entire month of, I think it was February. It was either February or March of 2023. Um, or maybe it was 2020. No, that was last year, 2023. Um, and then up until September of 2023, the lowest weight that I got to, and this is working out literally minimum of 5 up to 7 days a week. My lowest weight was like 220 at that time. I track my food. Um, this year, since I recommitted in April, is really the first time that I have committed to actually paying attention to the nutrients like my protein, my fiber, my fat, and making sure that I'm getting enough food. Before, I wasn't even really counting calories because, again, no faith in diets. But I wanted to know what I was eating and how that impacted my weight. And kind of keep, I didn't want to go crazy with it. But I literally never stayed under my calories until probably this year. Like I might hit it 1 day or 2 days or whatever. But that's the thing. But if you look at my Fitness Pal profile, I am. I actually, let me look, but I'm over 500 days of consistent every single day. And I think for me, my success with that is just that I'm one of those person, like I get dopamine hits from checking boxes. And, I had never, prior to this streak, I had never made it past 75 days. And I remember when I made it to 75 days, a couple years ago, and then I was on vacation or on a trip, and I forgot to log in one day, and I was so mad that I had to start over. But as of today, this recording is July 21st. I'm at 560 days. Um, I don't want to show all of my information, but you can see it there. My streak is over here. There's a little bit of a glare. And I'll do a video on this probably next week or something like that. But all of that to say, there are many things that have helped me lose weight, and things that have not. The tracker alone by itself has not helped me to lose weight. I've been on my fitness pal since 2011, before I had the weight loss surgery, and I mean, it tells me member since, and I think, like, it gives me a number of how much I've lost the entire time, which is sad considering it's been more than a decade. But that's neither here nor there. So we talked about, how did I get fat? What I've already tried, what has worked and what hasn't worked. The everything works. To be fair, everything works as long as you do the things. It's when you stop doing the things that it keeps you from reaching your goals. So number 4, here's a big one. So why have I decided to do what I am currently doing? So I mentioned that I kind of recommitted myself in April. What I did was, because of I had some problems with the lap band. It's still there. I haven't actually had a fill probably since like before COVID. I was seeing a doctor in Maryland, and he was, that's how I was actually able to get my weight back down, is, going and having my fills. And, maybe I'll talk in detail about what, how it works. I mean, it doesn't much matter because I don't think any doctors do this particular type of surgery. But I really wanted to do this surgery because I didn't want my stomach cut into and changed or anything moved around. And essentially what it is that it's a silicone band that is placed around the top of your stomach and makes a little pouch so that when you eat, you get full faster. Now, the thing with this is it physically restricts you from eating. Now, that being said, you can cheat it. You're not supposed to eat with your meals or drink with your meals. Sorry. How can you not eat with your meals? You're not supposed to drink with your meals. If you wait enough time, and how many of you, sweet tea, McDonald's sweet tea is like my nemesis, or it used to be anyway. You can drink your calories and still not lose weight. There's lots of restrictions, but anyway, the main thing is, with me picking up on the exercise, I was having difficulty. Like, I couldn't chug water, or I still can't. Because, if you drink it too fast, it kind of gets stuck in that little bubble that's up at the top, and then, it comes back out. So there goes your hydration. So that was like the main thing. And I feel like it's been enough time that I've learned the proper way to eat, and, the things to do, the lifestyle to live, and that I don't need the lap band as a tool to assist me with my weight loss. And so I reached out. I was trying to find a doctor to remove the band, so that I could, just be fully me. And I made an appointment, met with this weight loss clinic, and she had mentioned to me, or she asked in our initial consultation, nurse practitioner, whether I was open to trying any weight loss drugs. And my response was absolutely not. I literally have never done drugs in my life, like not even recreational drugs, like nothing. Like I drink alcohol, but very rarely. And it's not, like I said, a judgment against anybody. It's just not for me. Like I like a clear mind, clear. And like I said, I haven't had any real, health issues. So that there's never been a need for me to take medications besides Excedrin. I mean, I had migraines as a child, and so I was on prescription medicine for that. And I did experience some postpartum depression after the birth of my first child, which I took for a short amount of time until I became pregnant with my second child. That's when I stopped. And I haven't, and that second child is 20, about to be 21. So I haven't had any sort of regular medication pretty much prescribed to me during that whole time, other than the basic, antibiotics or over the counter, Excedrin, Tylenol, things like that. Um, so she said that. I was like, absolutely not. And that was me having a very closed mind. I actually had not heard of, all the big players that they're talking about right now, Ozempic and Zepbound and Mounjaro and, and again, Ozempic and Mounjaro are diabetes medications prescribed for diabetes patients, but Zepbound and Wegovy, Indexa, I think is one, Trulicity. Those are, I don't know what's what. That's not what we're here for. The point of what I'm saying is all of those medications, I literally had not heard of them, not a single one of them until April this year of 2024. And I know you're asking me, do I live under a rock? Because that's how I felt. Um, at the end of that consultation, she sent me a packet of information, which included a list of all the weight loss drugs, including those that I mentioned previously. And so then that's when I started, I turned on my Tia and started doing my research and watching a million YouTube videos. And I did not know that the Oprah special, shame, blame, whatever it's called, I didn't even know what that was about. Like it was on my to watch list just because I typically watch information that Oprah puts out. Not necessarily a fan of hers, just, usually when she's talking about something, it's something worth knowing about. So it was on my list to watch. I finally watched that and made the decision that I was going to give it a go. So as of April 21st, I am taking Zepbound. Today is July 21st, so we're like right at that 90-day mark, and the next video will be about that. But the reason I decided to do this is because had always been looking at it, and there's always that question of, is obesity a disease? And I try to, reason with that, and also with my faith, in that, if God made me this way, maybe this is the way I'm supposed to be, because I have been obese my whole life. I do think there's some genetics involved. Both of my parents were overweight or are overweight. My father's deceased. My mom is still hanging in here. And I have a sister and a brother. My sister is overweight, but she wasn't her whole life. She did not become overweight until after having children. She knows what it's like to live in a thin body, as I do not. My brother never been overweight a day in his life. So we have all the same parents. Well, my sister has a different dad, but we all have the same mom. We grew up in the same environment as far as what's available to eat, what's available for activity and exercise. And we're all different. My brother has been thin his whole life. He's, over 40 now, still thin as a rail. My sister was thin, gained weight over time, like many people do in life. And here's chunky little Tia. Been chunky, still chunky, but not gonna be chunky. So that's what I have to say about that. In thinking about whether it is a disease, I do believe it is for some people. And I'm gonna, get a lot of negative flack because you always hear the way you lose weight is to eat less and move more. I 100% agree with that. The problem is that's not the only way to lose weight, and doing that does not work for every person. So that's where I had to come to grips with, you know, in deciding if I was going to be one of those people. I mean, like I said, I worked out literally 5 to 7 days a week, every single week for 9 months straight. And I could not lose more than 25 pounds. How is that even real? If the whole, and tracking my food, if you eat less and move more, theoretically, you should lose weight. So why can't I get to my goal weight? There's something specific to me that is not specific to other people. And I know this video is running long, but I do want to talk about my son, my middle son, who, again, I'm passing on this generational problem to my own children. And, the middle son, he actually was heavier when he was younger, like in elementary school. And he, of his own volition and free will, made the decision that he wasn't about that life and he wasn't going to be a chunky boy now or ever. And I'm trying not to get teary eyed about this because I am so proud of him. But he decided that he was going to do research and do the information. He's been obsessed with football since he was a very young kid. Like I would catch him in the living room watching the NFL network, watching football games from the 70s on TV, just all by himself. Like he just decided that he was interested in this thing and he was going to do this thing. So one year he was he started playing football when he was 5. My brother is also advocate or avid athlete. And he, one year, offensive lineman, because those are that's the position they give the chunkier boys. If you know football, if you don't, I'm sorry. I didn't before I had boys that played football. And he decided that he didn't want to be a lineman. And that summer, or that off season, he did the things. He figured out what he was going to eat. He figured out how he was going to work out. And by the time he returned, his coaches, the following season, his coaches could not believe who they were looking at. And that was, he was in middle school at that time. Yeah, he was, or I guess probably the end of elementary school because we moved to Maryland. But the particular coach that I'm thinking of was, still in Virginia. And so he moved to Maryland. It's so funny that his friends in Maryland never knew him when he was chunky, and they would see pictures of him and be like, "Who is that?" Because they had never known him to be overweight. And yeah, he worked out and ate right all through. And don't get me wrong, he eats what he wants to eat, but he does it in moderation. He does his meal prep. Even to this day, he is 23 years old. He does his meal prep. He does his workout. Now that we're out here in Denver, he's running races. He's run 2 races this year. I'm supposed to be running the 10K with him in October. I have promised that. So that's one thing that now I've said on the internet. So I guess that means it's true. But long story short is I think that there are different solutions for different people. And one thing doesn't work for everybody. And just because something worked for someone else doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you. Just because something didn't work for you doesn't mean it won't work for someone else. So there's zero judgment, there's zero condemnation, there is zero anything as far as weight loss is concerned. I am here. I am sharing my story with you. Just one chunky chick in the world trying to change her life to be what God has created it to be for me. That's it. No advice, no recommendations, just telling you my story. And hopefully, it'll help you in whatever way you need it to help you. The fifth point and final point, and I'm sorry this is super long.
What results have I seen? My results, you're going to have to come back to the next episode to get my 90-day update. Because again, we're out of time. We're over time. I thank you for indulging me with your attention. If you've made it this far in the video, please drop a hug emoji in the comments, or the word hug if you can't find the hug emoji. I like that little smiley one that has the little hands. But whatever. I am at the shameless begging part, where I ask you to like, subscribe, and hit that bell on YouTube, or write a review if you're listening on the podcast. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, so that others can find us and get some value out of this too. Just to recap, today I talked about the fact that I've been overweight my whole life, that I've tried just about everything under the sun to lose weight, that I have been successful in losing weight with diet, exercise, surgery, and all the things, but I've never been able to, one, reach my goal weight, or two, keep the weight off that was previously lost. I started the weight loss medication Zepbound in April of 2024, and this is the first time that I have ever taken a prescription drug in order to lose weight. What results have I seen? Well, you'll have to come back next time and hear that one. I will be sharing how much weight I have lost this year and exactly what I did to do it. I hope you're interested enough to come back, and if not, that's okay too. I thank you for listening today. This was a really hard one to share. Until next time, remember to heal thy spirit for a healthy spirit. May joy and peace be yours in abundance. Take care.
Thank you, ladies, for hanging out with me today. It's always so much fun. Now, if today's episode was good for you and the spirit leads, make sure you write a review. That'll help other women find us, and somebody else might receive a little bit of the value that you got today. All right, I'll see you on over in the Heal by Spirit Facebook group. The link is in the show notes if you're still not a member. Grace and peace be with you in abundance. Take care.